welcome to our deep dive.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
You sent us a collection of Romanian stories. And I have to say, this 1921 publication with a preface by the Queen of Romania herself.
Wow.
It's quite a find.
It is, yeah.
We're going to be exploring everything.
I love it.
From mysterious fairies and cunning outlaws
to
like dramatic power struggles.
Yeah.
Even a story about how not to play cards.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So it's going to be a wild ride.
Sounds fun.
What do you think about this as a source material?
Well, it's remarkable that these stories were translated and shared with a wider audience back then, you know?
Right.
It speaks to a desire to bridge cultures and introduce English readers to Romanian literature. I think we'll uncover some universal themes, but also some unique insights into Romanian culture and history.
Okay, so let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
Our first section is all about love, loss, and the supernatural.
Ooh.
And we start with The Fairy of the Lake.
Okay.
Which has this incredible romantic moonlit setting.
I love that.
Our protagonist is young, curious, and meets Zamfira.
Yeah.
This captivating figure who may or may not be a fairy. What do you think?
Well, the story deliberately leaves that question unanswered, which I think is so clever.
Yeah.
I think it reflects how Romanian folklore often blends reality and fantasy.
Right.
You know, it makes you wonder, did people back then truly believe in fairies?
Right.
Or was it more about using these stories to explain the unexplainable?
Right.
The mysteries of nature and human emotions.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how these stories might have functioned as a way to cope with the unknown. And speaking of the unknown, the dead pool takes us into a much darker realm.
Okay.
The shepherd is consumed by grief over losing his beloved.
Right.
And it leads to a resolution that is both haunting and deeply connected to the power of nature. It's like nature itself is a character in these stories.
Right.
Shaping destinies and reflecting human emotions.
I agree.
What do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. The lake, in The Fairy of the Lake, it represents mystery and enchantment. Yeah. While the dead pool in the second story acts as a border between the living and the dead.
Right.
A place where powerful emotions like grief can manifest.
Ooh, I like that. So now let's shift gears a bit and delve into a theme that I find endlessly fascinating. Outlaws.
Okay.
Zidra really grabbed me.
Yeah.
It's a story told through this incredibly haunting song about a fearsome outlaw.
Interesting.
And the lyrics hint at a tragic backstory.
Oh.
Which makes you wonder, was Zidra driven to a life outside the law by circumstances beyond their control?
It's a classic question, isn't it?
Right.
Are criminals born or are they made?
Yeah.
You know, and the song format is a brilliant way to present Zidra because it adds layers of mystery and intrigue.
Yeah.
You hear about their exploits, but you also sense this underlying sorrow and pain. Yeah. It makes for a much more complex character than just a simple villain.
And then there's that chilling conclusion where the narrator's own father executes Zidra.
Wow.
It's such a stark, brutal view of justice.
It is, yeah.
It makes you think about the harsh realities of life in Romania's past. But then we move to Gardana.
Okay.
And the lines between outlaw and hero start to blur.
Interesting.
We meet Toli, a former outlaw, trying to build a peaceful life.
Right.
But his past and his own internal conflicts keep pulling him back in.
Yeah.
What's interesting about Toli is that he's not simply a romanticized noble bandit.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
He's tormented by his past actions. Yet he's also capable of great tenderness and loyalty.
Right.
He embodies the struggle between good and evil that exists within all of us.
That's true.
I was on the edge of my seat the whole time trying to guess what choice he would make.
Oh, really?
The story really explores the idea that everyone has the potential for both darkness and light within them. That's deep.
Okay, get ready for a wild ride.
Oh, boy.
Because we're diving into history with Alexandru Lăpușneanu.
Ooh, okay.
This story is set during a very tumultuous time in Moldavian history, and Lăpușneanu, the ruler, is a force of nature himself.
I see. To give you some context,
Lăpușneanu's
reign was marked by constant power struggles,
right,
shifting alliances, and paranoia. He was known for his ruthlessness.
Yeah.
And the story vividly portrays that, detailing the Boyar massacre, even a horrifying pyramid of heads constructed as a warning to his enemies.
It's intense.
Right.
But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Oh, okay.
Lăpușneanu is portrayed as a devoutly religious man, capable of both extreme cruelty and moments of genuine piety. How do we reconcile those two sides of him?
That's a question historians still debate today. He's such a complex figure.
Right.
He embodies the contradictions of power.
And the story really highlights how a single individual can inspire both terror and devotion.
I was completely captivated by his character.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how history is rarely black and white.
Right.
Even those who commit terrible acts can be driven by complex motivations.
Absolutely.
After that intensity.
Yeah.
We need a little comic relief, don't we?
We do, we do.
Old Nichifor the Imposter is a fun one.
Right.
We meet Nichifor, a cab driver, who stumbles into a series of misadventures. With nuns, a broken carriage, and a resourceful woman named Malka.
Interesting.
It's a lighthearted story.
Okay.
But it actually touches on some interesting social commentary.
Oh, does it?
It does.
Okay.
Nichifor's observation that the merchant lives by his business and for himself.
Yeah.
Reflects a shift in Romanian society at the time.
Interesting.
There was a growing emphasis on individual enterprise and a move away from traditional religious authority.
I see. That is subtle, but it's there.
It is there.
Yeah.
And Malka, with her quick thinking and ability to adapt, is such a breath of fresh air.
I like her already.
She really steals the show.
Good for her.
What stands out to you about her character?
Well, I find her resilience fascinating.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to take charge,
Yeah.
to bend the rules a little to get things done.
Yeah.
And her ability to find humor in difficult situations is quite endearing.
I love that.
Me too.
It reminds us that even amidst challenges and setbacks, a little bit of resourcefulness and a sense of humor can go a long way.
Absolutely.
And speaking of challenges,
Okay.
our next section delves into the theme of hard work and its rewards. Or sometimes the lack thereof.
Yeah, that's real.
It's a theme that resonates with everyone, I think.
It certainly does resonate. And Papa Tanda is a perfect example of that.
Right.
We've talked about his transformation from a passive recipient of charity to a proactive leader.
Yeah.
But what's really striking is the resistance he encounters from his own community.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
It is.
He's trying to inspire them, to show them they have the power to improve their own lives.
Right.
But they seem to prefer the familiar misery of their current situation.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, is there like a fear of the unknown at play here? Or perhaps a lack of belief in their own abilities?
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Change is always scary.
Yeah.
And when you've known nothing but poverty and hardship, it can be hard to imagine a different future.
Right.
But Papa Tanda ultimately offers a message of hope.
Right.
Demonstrating that change is possible.
Yeah.
Even in the most stubborn of communities.
That's what makes the story so compelling.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we all have the potential to make a difference, to break free from limiting beliefs and create a better reality for ourselves and those around us.
Absolutely.
But not every story offers such a clear path to triumph.
That's true.
Out in the world, we meet Sandhu.
Yeah.
A young man full of ambition and talent who faces a whole different set of challenges.
Sandhu's story is heartbreaking.
It is.
In its realism.
Yeah.
He leaves home eager to make his mark on the world, but he encounters a harsh work environment, complex family dynamics, and a society where opportunity is often determined by birth and social connections.
It's like every time he takes a step forward, something knocks him back.
Yeah.
You know, the way he's treated by this mistress of the tannery, for example, is just awful.
Yeah.
She's constantly criticizing him, finding fault with his work, even when he's doing his best.
Right.
Why do you think she's so hard on him?
It's interesting to consider the mistress's behavior in the context of gender roles of that era.
Right.
She's clearly a woman in a position of authority, but she seems to exert that authority through harshness and control.
Right.
It makes you wonder if she feels a need to overcompensate, to prove herself in a male-dominated world.
That's a fascinating point.
Yeah.
It adds another layer to the story, doesn't it?
It does.
And then there's the complicated relationship between Sandhu and Anna.
Oh, right.
The master's daughter.
Yeah.
It's clear they have feelings for each other,
Mm-hmm.
but their class difference creates this insurmountable barrier.
It's a classic Romeo and Juliet scenario, isn't it?
It is.
Their love is genuine,
Right.
but societal expectations and their family's prejudices stand in their way.
Yeah.
It speaks to the enduring power of love,
Right.
but also to the tragic consequences of social divisions.
I found myself really rooting for them,
Oh, yeah?
hoping they would find a way to be together.
Yeah.
But deep down, I knew it was probably impossible.
Right.
It's a reminder that even the purest of emotions can be crushed by the weight of societal norms.
It's true.
Speaking of societal norms,
Yeah.
remember The Bird of Ill Omen?
Oh, yeah.
It cleverly uses humor
Right?
to expose the absurdity of blindly following superstitions.
I see.
Conte Costache, with his fear of bad luck, is such a memorable character.
Oh, he is.
And Mrs. Raluca,
Huh?
the supposed bird of ill omen herself,
Yeah.
is just brilliant.
She's
She's observant, quick-witted,
yeah.
and knows exactly how to manipulate Conte Costache's superstition to get what she wants.
Clever.
An invitation to his luxurious country estate.
It's a classic case of reverse psychology.
It is.
It makes you wonder, does Conte Costache ever realize he's been tricked?
Right?
Or does he continue to live his life dictated by omens and irrational fears?
I think that's left open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Which is part of what makes the story so fun to think about.
I agree.
It's a reminder that we all have our own blind spots,
Mm-hmm.
our own irrational beliefs that might be influencing our choices
Right.
without us even realizing it.
Absolutely.
And now we arrive at Arenal,
Okay.
a story that lingers in the mind
Yeah,
long after you finish reading it.
it does.
The narrator's regret over his inability to express his feelings for Arenal, his missed chance at love due to his own shyness,
Yeah.
is something I think many of us can relate to.
Oh, absolutely. It's a feeling that's both universal and deeply personal.
Yeah.
We've all had those moments where we wished we had spoken up,
Right.
taken a chance, expressed our true feelings.
Right.
The story captures that sense of longing,
Yeah.
the what-ifs that can haunt us as we reflect on our past choices.
The setting, with its idyllic descriptions of summer days, walks in the garden,
Yeah.
and stolen glances,
Right.
creates this almost dreamlike atmosphere.
It does.
It's like we're transported back
Right.
to a time of youthful innocence and missed opportunities.
And the narrator's final decision to leave,
Right.
to escape to Bourboule under false pretenses, is
Yeah.
just heartbreaking.
It is.
He knows he's made a mistake,
Right.
but he can't bring himself to face the consequences of his inaction.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes our own fears and insecurities can be the greatest obstacles to happiness. That's true. And the story's final image,
Yeah.
with the narrator gazing out the train window at the passing landscape, is filled with a sense of longing
Yeah.
and a profound understanding of the weight of missed opportunity.
It's a poignant ending to a deeply moving story.
And now, as we move into our final section,
Okay.
we'll explore themes of fate, resilience, and the enduring power of hope, even in the face of the most challenging circumstances.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground already,
We have.
from love and loss to outlaws and historical figures and the complexities of hard work and ambition.
Yeah.
But what's striking is how these stories,
Yeah.
despite their diverse settings and characters,
All right.
all manage to touch on universal themes that resonate with our own human experience.
It really makes you think,
It does.
about how much control we really have over our own lives.
Yeah, and it's funny how a story that seems lighthearted on the surface
You're right.
can reveal so much about human nature.
Oh, absolutely.
Like The Bird of Ill Omen is a great example.
Yeah.
Conte Costache, with his obsession with avoiding bad luck,
Right.
is a character that sticks with you.
He does. It's like he's living in a world governed by chance and superstition rather than taking control of his own destiny.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Raluca, with her sharp wit and manipulative skills,
Right.
is the perfect foil to his character.
She is a force of nature, isn't she?
She is. She sees an opportunity and seizes it,
Mm-hmm.
playing on Conte Costache's fears
Right.
to secure her invitation to his lavish country estate.
Clever.
It's a brilliant strategy.
It is.
Makes you wonder how often we, like Conte Costache,
Right.
might be influenced by our own irrational beliefs. without even realizing it.
That's a thought-provoking question.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the power of suggestion and how easily our perceptions can be shaped by external forces.
Absolutely.
But now, let's turn our attention to a story that explores a very different aspect of the human experience. Urinal. And the bittersweet pangs of missed opportunities. The narrator's journey through memory, filled with regret over unspoken feelings, is incredibly relatable.
It really is. I think we've all experienced that feeling of longing.
Absolutely.
Of wishing we had taken a chance, expressed our true selves. The story captures that sense of what could have been. The paths not taken with such a delicate touch.
The setting plays a crucial role in creating that atmosphere of longing.
It does,
The long summer days, the walks in the garden, the stolen glances. It all contributes to this feeling of a lost paradise. A time of innocence and possibility that has slipped away.
It's like a bittersweet dream, isn't it?
It is.
And the narrator's decision to leave for Borbul, knowing he's missed his chance with Erinal, is heartbreaking.
It is. It's as if he's running away from his own regrets.
It's a decision driven by fear, I think. The fear of rejection, the fear of vulnerability, the fear of facing his own shortcomings. And that final image of him looking out the train window, the scenery rushing by, is so poignant.
It is.
It's a visual representation of time slipping away, of opportunities lost.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes our own fears and insecurities can be the greatest obstacles to happiness.
So true.
And speaking of overcoming obstacles, we've journeyed through quite a range of stories in this deep dive.
We have.
From love and loss to outlaws and historical figures. We've explored a fascinating spectrum of human experiences.
And through it all, I think what shines through is the resilience of the human spirit.
That's beautiful.
Whether facing supernatural encounters, social injustices, or personal setbacks. The characters in these Romanian tales demonstrate a remarkable ability to adapt, to persevere, and to find moments of beauty and hope, even in the darkest of times.
What a beautiful way to sum it up. It's been a truly enriching experience.
It has.
Exploring these stories with you.
Likewise.
From the mystical to the historical. They offer a glimpse into a culture rich in tradition, folklore, and a deep understanding of the complexities of the human heart.
And they remind us that storytelling in all its forms has the power to transport us across time and cultures, to connect us with universal themes, and to leave us with a sense of wonder and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to know, which story resonated with you the most?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And what does it say about your own relationship with love, fate, and the world around you? That's something to ponder, isn't it?
It is.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.